Hey, hello and welcome to another episode of Adventures in Celluloid. I am one of your hosts, Corey, and we've got
Josh.
And we've got a guest with us. Well, we have Lee returning with us again.
Hey
Lee.
guys. He's almost officially a host.
Yeah, even though he doesn't say much. But yeah, we've got
he's our deep consulting, not insulting, consulting.
Yeah.
And we consult him for the meanings of deep.
Yeah, let's just get on with our guest.
He might be insulting, though.
Yeah, he's insulting sometimes.
Okay. Guest, what is your name?
My name is Tim McGuire.
Oh, he's the first one to say his last name. He's living life on the edge.
Kind of important.
Tim McG.
Call me M-Dog.
He's an actor.
Actors.
Awesome
actors. Actors.
Can't live with Arrested Development, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm an actor. No, you're not. Actor. Well, I like to act. Have you seen Arrested Development?
I've seen exactly 0 full episodes. And I say full episodes on purpose because I have seen many fragments of episodes. So I know absolutely nothing about the show because they're all not in sequential order.
I just want my kids back.
Well, anyway, Tim's a good actor. Anyway,
that's my favorite one.
Anyway.
Thanks for the compliment. That wasn't insulting. That was more
brown-nosing our guest, Josh. Okay. Lee's got some of our material, but we'll get to that.
So, Corey, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about Return of the Jedi.
Ooh, I've seen that movie.
You seen it?
Yes,
That's
I have.
good. It's good to... Oh, I just hit something. Oh,
nobody touch the table.
Okay, it's always good to have a guest that's seen a movie that we were talking about.
Usually helpful, I would assume.
Yeah, like we a special someone that we're gonna have in for Jurassic Park.
Ooh.
Special someone, yeah.
That's gonna be interesting.
Intrigue.
He'll get a bit long-winded, but whatever. Okay.
Passionate.
So the plot basically. Han's frozen, so they're going in to save him from Jabba's palace. They do so, and there's a bunch of stuff in the sand dunes and stuff for the Sarlacc pit. Boba Fett goes in, dead, and then he's not exactly dead. I don't know.
There's some debate on that.
Yeah, there's debate, but in the expanded universe, he's alive.
Yeah,
which is technically not canon anymore. Yeah. And then I touched the table. I'm sorry, Josh.
Don't touch the table.
Sorry.
He's my friend.
I'm sorry.
You're a strong, independent man. You don't need to apologize to him.
That's right. I'm a strong, independent man. I don't need to apologize to you, Josh. So, ha! I almost walked out because of you last time.
We gotta kick Tim out. He's a bad influence. Okay.
He said I was a good person earlier, so just gonna stick with that.
Just contradicting myself right and left. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue, Corey.
Okay. So, yeah, and then they escape from Jabba, and Leia's in a bikini. That's important because they did that.
It's a key plot point, right there.
Yeah, it's a key plot point. She's in a gold bikini.
Key plot point and key financial point.
Yeah, they just wanted to attract an audience, my friends.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was a cheaper costume, but I guess both are true.
I'd imagine it wasn't that hard. It was hard to make, though. I mean,
with all the gold fringing and all the chain.
Okay, so
I'm just saying my future wife had better like Star Wars. So, okay. Let's move on. Okay. Then Luke goes back to Dagobah to visit Yoda, who is dying.
Oh.
Yoda's dying, and
Yoda,
then Yoda dies. He disappears, just like Obi-Wan did. We forgot to mention that last time.
Yeah.
With Empire Strikes Back, that Yoda says there's another hope. But we'll get to that in just a moment. We'll find out. So, Luke goes out after Yoda passes away into the next dimension. And Obi-Wan's out there. His ghost is just hanging out. And Luke's like, Obi-Wan, why the crap didn't you tell me that Darth Vader's my daddy?
Word for word.
That's exactly what he says. And then Obi-Wan's like, oh, I was just speaking all funny. I thought you knew what I meant.
I was speaking like Yoda. Come on.
This whole movie is just based on one big misunderstanding.
Yes. And
I touched it.
You touched the table,
That
Josh.
was me that time.
That was you.
I'd like to go on record of saying Lee and I, we're being amazing and have not touched the table yet.
Ooh, and they're not even the real hosts. What did you have to say about that, Josh?
No comment.
No comment. Okay. And then Obi-Wan basically tells Luke that Leia's his sister. And Luke's like, what? But I kissed her, bro.
Brody.
Grody, bruh.
I bet whenever he got back on his X-Wing and just found whatever, but he keeps hand sanitizer in his X-Wing.
Flew into his son.
He keeps saying
He's got some Germ-X in his, because he goes through the drive-thru sometimes in his X-Wing. So
Yeah,
then
that's possible.
and
You couldn't reach the window. The cockpit is so far away because of the wings.
it flips on its side.
Oh,
He reaches
he's like
out.
reaching up to get to his. Okay.
in
Yes.
A New Hope, he blows up like the Death Star, and he's just like, that was easy. And then he like gets some hands.
Hand sanitizer.
Clean my hands. I didn't
Clean
do
my
it.
hands of the Empire lives I just exterminated. Exterminate, not exterminated. Exterminate. But exterminate.
That's a different. That's a different universe.
Let's not go there yet.
That would take a whole season to talk about Doctor Who.
There were a couple movies though.
Be like a full
With Peter
week.
Cushing. With Peter Cushing, who played Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh
in Star Wars.
yeah.
Yeah, the Dalek movies. That's what they're called. Yeah.
We do need to move forward with
Yeah.
Let's get
our
off of
rendition of what's going on in the movie, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Okay, what happens after Obi-Wan to... Oh, yeah, then they're all going to Endor, because there's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the plant thing and everything.
Yeah, Endor is this beautiful little planet, and it's full of little bears.
Oh,
Ewok.
oh my goodness.
They're never referred to Ewoks on screen. The word Ewok is never mentioned on screen. Or not on... Well, it's not mentioned, in the...
They're just called that
In
for fan purposes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's another character that wasn't referred to by name. I think it was Admiral Akbar that was never referred to by name in the movie.
No. I think I remember, it wasn't like Admiral Akbar, but I think
Oh no, it was the Emperor. It was the Emperor that was. It was. They did mention Akbar by name, but they never called the Emperor Palpatine in Return of the Jedi, in the film. What is that? What did you show me a picture of?
Okay, right now, audience, for those of you who can't see, I'm showing Corey a picture of a Langer Cheeto. Google it right now since you're listening on your...
A Lando Cheeto?
Yes, a Langer Cheeto. It's Langurchato. It looks like a real life Ewok, but with a really long tail, and it's
kinda
awesome.
does. It's cute.
Yeah,
It's cute.
Just look it up on Google
yeah.
Images. It's the first image you see. It's great.
Oh my goodness.
I know,
I
right?
just looked it up myself. That's amazing.
It is. It's pretty cute.
Yeah,
It's
I have
cute.
seen that.
It's cute. But yeah, they're on Endor, and then a bunch of stuff happens.
Big
And
fight.
the Empire's there, but then Luke's got to leave. He goes up to the Star Destroyer, and
Was it a Star Destroyer?
yeah, he's on the Star Destroyer
Oh yeah.
because the Death Star goes boom.
Right.
Yeah, he's on the Star Destroyer. Oh, I was supposed to say that. Yeah, Death Star. Yeah, they're building another Death
Spoilers.
Star. They're building another Death Star. I forgot to mention that, but yeah, they're on the Luke's up on the Star Destroyer, and he's Vader's prisoner, and basically Vader's denying his paternity. He's like, I know I told you. He's like, whatever. I know you're my son, but I don't care. But then Luke's like, I know you're still a good man underneath there, bud. And so then they go into the Emperor's throne room, where the Emperor's sitting there like,
He just drank a lot of milk, so
I
he's trying to
remember
get
that
it out of his throat.
yeah.
I remember they cut that part out of the final movie because they're like, why is he just groaning?
Give in to your anger.
Are you
But, yeah.
okay? Yeah, I just have something.
But then, and the Emperor starts taunting Luke. He's like, your friends are gonna die and stuff.
Your friends are gonna die and stuff.
And stuff.
The power of
Like
this
you're reading it directly from the
space
script.
station
And stuff.
and stuff. Yeah, and then Luke, then he pretty much angers Luke while the battle in Endor is going on. The little bears and the rebels against the Empire, who the rebels are trying to shut down the new Death Star's force field, while another team is going to be there to destroy it. Right. And that team's led by Lando Calrissian, or Coolio Starstash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like that name.
Coolio Starstash.
That's a good name.
Yeah, it's his new name, according to George Lucas. That's his new name.
He's so class. That guy's so classy.
He's got so much class.
I mean,
He has so much class.
You're just the epitome of class when you're like, what is it? It's Coolio Starstash.
Coolio Starstash.
That is the epitome of classiness, right there.
I know. Like, when Han meets Leia, he's just like, oh, who's this? A wonderful girl. Shut up, princess. And then when Coolio Starstash meets Leia, he's like, well, who might you be? and he kisses her hand, and he's like, and
Takes
yeah.
a great interest. He treats her like.
And
a
Han's
lady.
like, I know he's not going to betray me, but I kind of still feel a little weird.
Yeah. But then, yeah, and then the Bears versus the Stormtroopers, that goes on, and the Rebels get the force field shut down, so then Lando and his boys can head in there
Did
and
we ever
start
talk
blowing
about
up the
Han
Star.
actually being freed from?
Yeah, we
yeah.
very, very briefly
Okay.
did. I said they went to rescue Han, and they did.
Basically,
Oh,
yeah.
and they did part. I didn't.
Yeah, and
I
they
just
did.
heard that they went. And
Yeah.
they went. What happened after they went? Did they fail? Did they?
It's a key moment.
They
And they did.
They thawed him.
They fought.
They thawed and fought.
Yeah, and then the Lando and his boys go in there, start destroying the Death Star, and then Luke gets angered. He snatches up his lightsaber from the Emperor, and him and Darth Vader start fighting with their lightsabers and stuff. And I'm swinging around my arms right now as if I have a lightsaber. And yeah, and then Luke's all angry, and then he starts attacking Vader, and he's vicious. He is vicious, and he chops off Vader's hand, and there's a bunch of wires sticking out. And he looks at his own robotic hand, and he's like, and the Emperor's like, ha!
And stuff.
That's what I was gonna say. You beat me to it.
And then the Emperor's like, finish him and stuff. And then Luke puts away his lightsaber beam, and he's like, I'm a Jedi, like my father before me. And then
Yeah.
and stuff.
No,
The
that's
Emperor's
just
like,
the Emperor. He only.
oh yeah. Then the Emperor's like, so be it,
Say
Jedi
anything.
and stuff. And then Vader's getting up. He's like wheezing and stuff. He's like, no, he's not. Is he wheezing yet?
No, because that's after the whole.
Yeah,
That's
he
when
didn't start
Luke.
wheezing yet.
That's when Luke is doing the "I'm gonna kill you"
Yeah.
move, where he's just like relentlessly doing
already
the
said
same
that.
motion over and over.
I already said that. It already happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is he wheezing at this point?
No,
No,
that
no,
happens because.
Yeah, it's
Darth
after
Vader-
the yeah. Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the wheezing come in a moment. I'll talk about him
Stay
wheezing
tuned.
in a minute. Stay tuned. Same
tuned
Darth
for wheezing
same
and
Darth
stuff.
time, same Darth channel.
wheezing and stuff.
Wheezing and stuff. But yeah, and then Darth Vader gets up and he stands next to the Emperor, and the Emperor starts shocking Luke. And I bet this is pretty fun on the set when Luke is getting shocked. Mark Hamill just squirming around like, Father, please!
And like that weird like scream he does. The
Ah! Ah!
sounds like he's been constipated for a week.
Yeah.
He's trying to poorly replicate the Wilhelm scream. He's just like,
And the one part that legitimately scared me when I was a little child was the Emperor's teeth.
Oh, my
Oh
goodness.
my
He didn't take good care of his teeth.
Truly terrifying.
So I'd like look away when I was like 3 watching it, and I was just like, no.
I don't care about
Where'd
Luke
he
and
go?
those teeth.
Where'd he go? Where does he go? Come on. And then Vader is like, he's just looking between them. He's looking back and forth, and he's like, he's breathing hard, and he's like, I'm a good man. And then he picks up the Emperor, and they was like, what? No! And then he throws the Emperor down the pit, and then the Emperor's like, ah! And if you watch the 1997 special edition, he does the same scream as Luke going down the garbage pit. But like, ah! Then he explodes and stuff. And then Vader's wheezing and he's hanging over.
But why is he wheezing? We did not cover why he's.
Because he's getting shocked
There we
by the
go.
Emperor. And
it's like an EMP
'cause he's
his
he's going back to him.
defibrillator.
Pacemaker, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, what's
High tech pacemaker.
keeping him alive. And then,
Respirator.
yeah.
It's probably more
And
technical.
the Death Star gets blown up, the second one.
Oh yeah, that's small time.
Yeah. It's not as big of a deal as the original Death Star.
Yeah.
But Coolio Star Stash blows it up. And then
He's pretty cool.
he's pretty cool.
Yo,
Star Stash, the name itself.
You know,
is
Billy D.
quite-
Williams is on the cool side of the pillow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is.
He is.
He's not on the cool
He
side.
is the cool
he
side
is
of
the
the
cool side of the pillow.
Yeah.
You flip it over, you're like, oh, there's
There-
Coolio
there-
right there.
there he is.
Star
Oh,
Stash.
right there.
Thank heavens. Oh, thank heavens it's Julio Stars.
But yeah, and then Luke's dragging Darth Vader out there to a shuttle. But then Vader's like, "Hey, yo, take this helmet off, son. Take it off." And he's like, "But you're gonna die." And he's like, That's gonna happen anyway, bud. I'm gonna die."
You dumb.
And then Luke takes the the helmet off Darth Vader. We see Darth Vader's face for the very first time. He's gray. He hasn't seen air in a while, but
Looks like, you done goofed, Dad.
I just want to point out I haven't seen Air, and I don't wear a mask.
oh yeah. I mean, it's you know what I mean. You smart aleck Guinness. But Darth Vader looks at his son with his own eyes for the first and last time, and then he expires. He's off to sing with the choir invisible. He's kicked the bucket. He's no more. He's gone to meet his maker. He's ceased to be. He's dead.
Relinquished his life essence.
Yes.
It's a sad moment.
He's
Moment of silence.
With
the rock music in the back.
Well, it's the sound in the background is another one bites the dust. As you know, we're talking about
That's pretty
someone
great.
biting the dust here.
That's just great.
yeah.
So my question is, because he eventually has his own Force Ghost, right?
Yeah.
Why does it wait until his body is being burned?
He just likes to show up.
Oh, he's just like, oh, I want to attend my own funeral, see my body
Yeah.
burn.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Check that off my bucket list. Well, actually, he couldn't have a bucket list. He's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also kicked his bucket over, so.
Kicked me.
Yeah. And then yeah. And
A
then
bucket list?
Yeah. Because you
Kick the
gotta
bucket.
take everything out of
Yeah.
your bucket before you kick it when you die.
Oh, that's awesome.
Actually, no, I don't think that's.
I think
I'm just
I
thinking
think it is
like
that. We're gonna make that.
that's
be what
that's
it
the
is.
thing.
Patting that saying.
So then Luke goes back to Endor, where everybody's partying it up. Then with the Yub Nub song, they're not singing
Yub
the
Nub.
do 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 do. They're singing da 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 da.
The only scene I actually picture in my head from that is the crowd pulling down the giant statue of.
Yeah, that's in the special edition. It's
Yeah.
just
Wait, down statue of what? Maybe I haven't seen a special edition.
that's in the
Special edition. Okay, you see.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah,
We'll get to
moment.
that. But yeah, then we see the ghosts of Anakin Skywalker, played by Sebastian Shaw, who just played him in the suit. If you're watching the right version, we'll get to that.
Less whiny than Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, and then then Obi-Wan's there, and Yoda's chilling. Yoda's ghost shows up. He's like, "Go stay him," and then the movie closes. And yeah,
Wait, what about? Did you say Obi-Wan was there?
yeah, Obi-Wan's there.
Okay.
He's there.
It's covered. Yeah.
Obi-Wan's always partying it up,
Yeah, Obi-Wan was there, and he did.
and he did.
That's when we like.
But it do. Okay, so significant points before we get to those awful changes. Any points we need to bring up here?
One of the like the second biggest plot twist in the entire.
Oh
trilogy.
yeah, the siblings.
The siblings, Luke and Leia. Leia's like, we're brother and sister. Wait,
No,
Luke
Leia
was
doesn't say that.
I've always known.
Wait, Luke.
Somehow
says
I've always Leia's like somehow Luke says like talking about the Force, and he's like I have it, and my sister has it. And then he looks at her and she's like, somehow I've always known, and she's like, and you smooched him, lady.
that. It would have been
Somehow I've always known.
It would have been funny if Leia was like, "Oh, you have a sister." I
Oh,
was like, "No, it's you, stupid." It's like, oh my gosh.
but yeah.
Yeah, and so then at the end of Return of the Jedi, Han figures it out. He's like, I know you like Luke. It's fine. He's like all about
Oh yeah.
it. And then
She's like, oh, pfft,
no,
he's my
idiot.
brother. And then Luke and Leia. I mean, not Luke and Leia. Then Luke. No, Leia and Han kiss. Oh, something else might have almost happened there. But Leia and Han kiss, and then they're kissing. Then Han opens his eyes, and he's like,
Wait, what? Your brother?
"What about on Hoth?" Yeah. Weird family.
Whew, what a
They're very
big,
friendly with
horrible
each other.
misunderstanding.
My family was close.
I think Han's like, well, at least I don't have to deal with the in-laws.
He already had to deal with them.
He's like got one
Blew
in-law
up
to
their
deal
property.
with. But yeah, and then
Shot him.
should I wait and discuss the changes from the novelization from when we talk about Return of the Jedi? I mean, not Return. When we talk about Revenge of the Sith, because it kind of more applies to that.
Does it?
Yeah, because it's way different in the novelization
I would
of
say, yeah.
the origins. So wait until Revenge. Yeah, I'll talk
Okay,
about
well,
the
yeah, we'll do
Revenge. But
Definitely did not talk about it in this one. You could have talked about it in about when you were talking about A New Hope.
yeah,
But I would say since we made it to Return of the Jedi, just wait till we
yeah,
get back to
it's
Revenge of the
mentioned in the Return of the Jedi novelization, but it kind of more applies to how they did Revenge of the Sith. I don't think Tim knows what I'm talking about at all, but
Nope.
I'll explain it to him at some point. But
I look forward to that.
yeah, the novelization is so different and better with its explanation of where Luke and Leia came from. So,
Their parents.
well, how they were handled between, and I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm just going to talk about it because it's in the Return of the Jedi novelization.
Go ahead.
We've already
Yeah.
started talking about
Yeah,
it.
and in the novelization, while Obi-Wan's explaining to Luke about his sister, he also mentions that the mother was still alive until Luke and Leia were 4, and they're still separated at birth. Luke was taken to Tatooine to live with Obi-Wan's brother, Owen. So in Owen is Obi-Wan's brother. He's yeah,
That's janky.
yeah, and then the mother takes Leia to Alderaan to live with the Organas, where she lives for the next 4 years until she passes away. It doesn't explain how she dies, but yeah, and that makes more sense than how Revenge of the Sith handled it, because Leia has a line in the movie where she remembers her mother's face, and how Revenge of the Sith people like to explain that, like, well, when she was born, she had her eyes open and she was looking at her mom. It's like,
No, because
I don't remember my mommy when I was born.
Yeah, no, yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. But Luke is also like, I don't remember anything.
Yeah,
about
and
my
Luke,
mom.
and Luke doesn't remember his mom at all, and the people are like, well, he had his eyes closed.
Well, we could make the argument that, the Force runs strong in the
it's
family.
Force stuff. People like
It
to
could just be
do
Force
that.
stuff.
But you explain a lot with the Force, though. So it's just
You'd be like, why did that happen? Oh, the Force.
yeah.
Just tuck it in the corner and the Force happens. We're good.
But yeah, it makes
No,
more
Force is the
sense
answer.
that Leia see her mother at most until she's 4, off and on. So, but yeah, the novelization makes more sense.
Mhm.
But as we're on the subject of that, we should get to the changes, because Return of the Jedi had more changes than Empire. And let's see, we'll get the big one out of the way. The big one that people hate. The very end, the Force ghosts. The original version had Sebastian Shaw as Anakin's ghost.
My goodness.
And and yeah, but then the special edition, Sebastian Shaw also played Vader unmasked, but in later editions, as of the 2004 edition, I believe, they changed it to Hayden Christensen, who played Anakin in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Thus, making him even a more hated person.
Yeah, and
Because he replaced him.
I mean, and George Lucas likes to explain it like, well, they returned to when they first returned, right before they turned to the dark side, and I was like, but Vader redeemed himself in the end.
And he became Jedi again at the end.
Yeah,
See, I did not know this was a fact, because I've only, as I previously stated, seen the special edition. I did
Yeah.
not know there was a change. I mean, I've
yeah.
seen on the internet
you need to see it.
allusions to it, but it never really...
Yeah,
Huh,
but
interesting.
it's because Vader redeems himself, so he should be back to, being an old man again, not young man. But whatever. And I also think this change is very disrespectful to Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah.
Because he had passed away by this point when they made this change, and they called him up for this movie, and they were very honored to have Sebastian Shaw playing Anakin, especially when he didn't have much screen time, and I bet he enjoyed playing it too, or else he wouldn't have agreed to such a small thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But then they cut out half of his, not half, but
It's like a majority.
It's like
at
it's like
least
a lot.
30% of his,
yeah.
maybe 20% of screen time. I don't know.
Yeah.
And also they altered his face when he's unmasked to look more like Hayden Christensen and a burn victim. They took out his eyebrows in the special edition. 'Cause he had eyebrows in the original, but then they took it out took him out in the special edition, and they also changed his brown eyes to blue to match Hayden Christensen's. And I was like, what?
No,
Just come
yeah.
on.
That's interesting.
But it's I just feel like it's very disrespectful to Mr. Shaw. 'Cause he was great in the movie. He had a very very brief appearance, but it was great. And yeah, but Sebastian Shaw, if any of your family are listening, I will never watch the special editions without being forced to. Kyle!
Being forced to.
Yeah.
Forced.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Stop.
Sorry.
Stop.
Bad puns are bad.
So Lee, what were those changes again that you?
Here, I'll just.
The scene in Jabba's palace where they sing, like in the original, it's just a simple song. It's like dun, 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 and it doesn't take over the scene. It's just there to be an ambient thing, right? But in the special editions, they replaced it with the song "Jedi Rocks," and it's like dun, 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 dun. It's all in your face and stuff.
Yeah, it
And
is really annoying.
and it's-
that's like the part of the movie I did not
Yeah, it had
enjoy.
nothing to
It
do with
looks
the plot.
So goofy.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
not.
CGI
out of
and
place.
added in. It's, yeah.
And yeah, it didn't fit. And also in that same scene, they added a bunch of Boba Fett stuff, like he's flirting with the ladies, and in the original, he's just standing there with his blaster, you know.
That seems more characteristic of him too.
Yeah,
Like I don't see him as much of a womanizer.
because he's got his he's got the classic hand on their chins and stuff, and he's being a ladies' man, Boba Fett, and that's just pure fan service for the
Mhm.
Boba Fett fanboys. It's just like, okay, I'm not a Boba Fett fanboy, but I think he'd be cooler if he wasn't flirting with the ladies and stuff and just chilling out, being his own mysterious
Yeah,
self.
man.
Well, he also added a beak and tentacles to the Sarlacc pit, which,
Oh yeah.
which kind of doesn't make sense because it's supposed to be a pit.
Wait. Are there not tentacles
Nope.
originally?
No,
it's just a pit with teeth.
Yeah, it's just a pit, and there's like triangle ridges sticking out of it.
It's basically a throat with teeth in
So
the
then-
desert. Because
Wow.
it still burps and has a little shaky thing there.
Right. Okay. Because then that whole thing about Boba being pulled into the
Yeah.
pit is totally added in.
He in the original he hits the side of the sail barge because
And just rolls it.
Han punctures his jetpack.
Right.
So he hits inside the sail barge and he rolls off the side of that and he rolls into the pit. And,
Huh.
Yeah. And also in the original, Han Solo, when he's about to shoot it does still have tentacles that shoot out of it, but they're not like, but the ones that are added are just waving around in the air and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
and so a tentacle does still get Lando's foot or Coolio, and Han's hanging over the side and trying to shoot it. In the original, he's just hanging by his feet, and then Chewie comes over and grabs his ankles. But then they added ropes in the CGI and it doesn't explain how they got there or anything.
Huh.
They're just there somehow, and yeah, it makes Han look less manly, which
Yeah.
I love Han.
He can hold himself up.
They changed some dialogue with them. I can't remember. Okay, in the original, whenever Lando's like, but Lando's obviously worrying because Han's about to shoot this tentacle. It's right next to his foot, and Han's like, "It's all right, trust me." But then they changed it to, "It's all right, I can see a lot better." But Lando doesn't make any note of Han having vision issues after being frozen.
That's because he was still partially blind from being frozen in the carbonite.
Yeah, but up until then, between when Han wakes up and on the barge, Han can see just fine, except for when he can't see Boba Fett. But still, it's just they didn't need to change it.
When they're on the barge and they're sailing, and then he's like, Luke says something about I was born here, I'm gonna die here, or whatever, or Han says that I'm glad I would die. Like maybe that's just my imagination.
No, there's something like that. Luke, I can't remember exactly what the context is, but Luke says,
But
I was born here, and Han's like, you're gonna die here too, kid.
Yeah, but I remember something about that he still couldn't see at that point.
I think I remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But didn't really need to change the
Right.
dialogue,
That it was good how it was.
He says, "It's all right, trust me." So it still makes the same sense there. And let's see. Yeah, they changed the music at the end of the movie with the Ewok celebration, and they show more of the Star Wars universe because the original it's just Endor. They're just celebrating that one battle, but then George Lucas was like, "Well, let's have them celebrate the victory across the universe." And they added a new musical piece that does not add up with the Ewoks playing the Stormtrooper drums and stuff like that, and their dancing rhythms does not match up with the victory celebration music. And they also show a shot of Naboo with a bunch of Gungans going, "We so free!" And
Oh my goodness.
It's just,
That's horrible.
why? Why you do this?
Why you ruin it?
Why you do this, George? Because we were talking on our original Star Wars podcast. We were talking about those changes, and I looked it up, and George Lucas spent $10 million on these changes.
Really?
And that's just the 1997 version. Who knows how much he spent on the later ones?
Wait, are there 2 stages of changes he made?
Let's see, he made changes in 97, 2004, and then 2011 for the Blu-rays.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, a Blu-ray change. This big Blu-ray change, the horrible one.
What happened there?
Oh boy, this one's the worst.
Well, first tell us what was supposed to happen.
Okay, in the
How they
original,
changed it.
whenever Darth Vader's trying to decide between Paragon and Renegade, for you Mass Effect fans, he's and he's about to throw the Emperor in. In the original, he's just silent. He doesn't say anything, but in the Blu-ray version, he goes, "No, no!" And they added the Revenge of the Sith yell. They added the Revenge of the Sith no to Return of the Jedi in the Blu-ray version. I know, right?
I don't have words to say how bad that is, because that no is the lowest
I know.
point of, even if you add in 1, 2, and 3, that is the lowest point.
Yeah. Also, the original scene in Revenge of the Sith, even how it's filmed is bad. They're zooming out as he says, "No, you do not do that." That just looks horrible. Zooming out while saying, "No, you don't do that. You don't do that."
Just simple cinematic things you don't
That's
do.
like rule one. I bet Alfred Hitchcock was like, "If you're gonna make a man say no, you do not zoom out while you're filming." And, yeah,
I'm sure that conversation happened at some point.
Yeah.
somewhere.
Probably, yeah.
probably. Alfred Hitchcock's Force Ghost was like, "George, you don't do that."
But was he old or young?
Old, because Alfred Hitchcock never turned to the dark
I
side.
can just imagine, like, in the new version,
Dun,
like,
dun, 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 dun,
Anakin
dun,
standing there, like the Hayden Christensen ghost Anakin, and he's standing there. It'd be hilarious if, like, Alfred Hitchcock walks in, a ghost, like,
No, he's got his shadow first. He's got his shadow, and then all of a sudden,
Show him
and
what you
where
don't
is he?
do
And then his
that.
ghost appears in the shadow, and then he's like, "George, you don't do that." Yeah, I don't know why George does these things. Why does he do it, George?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, everybody loved it the way it came out, Mr. Lucas. I realize it's your movie, but is it necessary? Is it?
No.
I mean,
it's your movie. You make it, but once it's released, it's our
it's
movie.
out. And you don't need to keep directing a movie that came out.
Stop
I mean,
taking away our movie, man.
You weren't even the director of Empire and Return. I don't care if you were a producer, but you were not the director. Irvin Kershner wouldn't have made those changes. And Richard Marquand wouldn't have made those changes. And Richard Marquand died way before you made any changes. So you're tarnishing his movie. So
Yeah, shame on you.
You did not fill out a permission slip from
Yeah.
those 2 people.
and your mom didn't either, because your
Yeah.
mom wouldn't have signed that thing.
She would've-
Georgie, you can't change your homework after you've turned it in.
Do it right the
Change
first
the
time,
test
they
scores.
say.
So I bet I can see George Lucas in college. He does a term paper, and then it's not very good. I mean, actually it is good.
It's
It's fantastic. And then 20 years later, he comes back to his college, and he made some changes to it. He gets it to his professor, who's old and decrepit, and like, "George Lucas?" And he's like, he's like, "Didn't you have to do this 20 years ago?" And like, "Yeah, but it was perfect the way it was. And this sentence is out of place here."
I think that's a perfect example.
Why did you turn it a Blu-ray version of your paper?
Why is this on blue paper?
But yeah,
Any more changes?
no. But I heard rumors. I think I noted this last episode or the episode before. But I think I heard rumors that Disney is trying to restore the theatrical versions and release them but I don't know. I hope it's not just a rumor because I want it to happen. Because
Well, that'll win them a bunch of points.
yeah, Disney
Well,
gets a bunch of brownie points.
It will really help Disney if they're trying, because they totally destroyed everything else.
Yeah.
Like the entire out of universe built by everyone else saying is not canon.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to the original theatrical version
Yeah.
will help them expand if they decide.
Yeah, they'll win them some points. But the one thing that bothers me about if Anakin's ghost is going to appear in the sequels, it's probably going to be Hayden Christensen.
Well, at
And-
this point, they're gonna have to. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be sort of difficult to.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't bring his ghost in at all because Alec Guinness has also passed away, and Frank Oz is still around. But I mean, so Yoda ghost, we can have a Yoda ghost.
Yeah.
We can have a Yoda ghost.
Yoda
Just
I
be
mean,
all
Yoda
Yoda.
was CGI for a while.
Yeah, Puppet Yoda's better though.
Yeah,
be quite honest.
Puppet Yoda was so fun to watch.
I know. And he had no sense of humor when he's CGI.
I know.
I understand-
He was all super serious, and he had a
Okay.
scowl on his face.
I understand
That's because
he
that
was-
was his younger years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, quote unquote.
Even though
younger
he was
years.
already hundreds of years old.
Yeah, but
And,
like.
and I realized he was going nuts for 20 years on
senile.
Dagobah.
He was
But,
like mostly senile at that point.
but I feel like he still had a sense of humor when he was just 20 years younger. Because
Right.
given his lifespan, it's...
20. I'm just thinking, maybe something snapped.
I don't know.
Dagobah does things.
Dagobah, man. Oof.
He's
Look what it did to Luke. He went inside that cave and got scarred.
Oh,
for
yeah.
life. He's like, oh man.
Can I just
what?
say, the set for Dagobah,
Oh,
was
one of my favorites.
yeah,
I
it was
love it.
great. It was great.
like, kudos to whoever built those sets. 'Cause those were not computer generated.
No, they were not.
Prequel trilogy.
You could tell, but
You
dude,
don't-
they were still amazing.
Yeah, you
Mm.
don't need to computer generate something all the time.
Yeah.
Like something handmade is like great.
I know, like, I'm going to talk about a different movie here real quick, but all the monsters in John Carpenter's The Thing, all the things, that's clearly what they're called, they're things. All the things in the original were practical special effects. And the prequel, I think they used CGI, and it looks a lot more fake. And it's that's just one of my movie comparisons, because they're both in the same realm right there. But practical special effects will always win in my book, because they actually look more realistic, because they're actually real. You
They're
can-
practical.
Yeah, you can touch them. I mean, Mark Hamill could touch Yoda. If he really wanted to, he could flip Yoda over his head. But CGI Yoda, he can't do that.
Yeah, he's pretend.
It's up to the animators to do that. They're just like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, okay. Content. I'd say it's safe for my chillins.
Safe from my children's, even though we don't have any children
None of us
yet.
are fathers yet, but
But when we do, safe for children's.
they're going to be some of the first movies
I
my
would take this a
children's
step
watch.
further. I wouldn't just let my children watch this movie. I'm going to make them. They're going to see this movie.
When was the first time you saw Star Wars, Tim?
First time I saw Star Wars, let's see. It had to have been when I was like 6 or 7.
Ooh, that's
at the
even
latest.
later than
At the
me.
latest, I'm thinking, because it was definitely in Texas.
Yeah.
When I lived in Texas before this. So that's... Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
remember not seeing the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
the same with me, because it was probably one of the first movies I ever saw, because my older brother was obsessed with them at the time.
Right.
And it definitely was by the time I was 3, because I remember when Phantom Menace came out. And
Right, I was going to say, I remember 1, 2, and 3. I especially remember, obviously, 3
Yeah.
being the latest one to come out. I remember that one coming out and being in theaters.
yeah,
So...
I remember coming out, Phantom Menace coming out. I didn't see it in theaters, Phantom Menace. The only one I've seen in theaters up to this point is Revenge of the Sith. That's the only one I've seen in theaters. But yeah, I remember Phantom Menace coming out on VHS. I remember getting it the day it came out on VHS. And that was 1999. I was 3. So, and I loved Star Wars by that time. So yeah, it is safe for chillins. My babies are going to watch that movie. Watch all 3 of the originals.
The only scene where you want to be like, okay, we will debate whether or not
The
this
teeth.
is chillin' friendly.
No, Leia.
Well, those teeth, but Leia. I think Leia
Oh, yeah.
is the only scene you're like, okay,
Yeah.
chillins, you gotta understand.
That's
Careful yourself.
that's not
Yeah.
good. That's not even good for the beach.
Jabba's bad. That's Jabba. That's Jabba
Yeah,
doing it.
Jabba, he is just questionable
Oh,
character, guys.
I forgot one
Accurate.
thing. My one complaint about Return of the Jedi. My one complaint about all versions, the original. This is the original. When Chewbacca is on Endor during the battle, he swings onto one of the chicken walkers, right? One of the AT-STs, and he does a Tarzan yell.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's just
What? You're not Tarzan.
it's
What are you doing in this movie?
breaking the fourth wall. It's just like
It's like if you ever want to like take the immersion away, do
Yeah.
that. Throw a Tarzan yell in there.
I don't know if that was Lucas's fault, but let's blame Lucas. So.
Keep Tarzan in his own.
I'm not gonna blame Richard Marquand because he's
Done so little wrong.
he's passed away since then. So
Yeah, we can't really.
I mean, he passed away just 4 years after Return of the Jedi was released.
That's upsetting.
I don't know the guy, but I feel like he would have been upset with the changes. I bet Irvin Kershner was a little upset with the Empire changes, even though his was the least changed.
Which could have been part of why it was the least changed.
Probably.
He was there to say, no, you're not touching my
Yeah.
movie.
I mean, I don't know much about Irvin Kershner, but even though he didn't make too many great movies, the Empire was probably the only great movie he made.
The one thing I appreciate though is that all like the original 3, they all have the same feel. To
Yeah.
them. They've all got that same. I don't know how to explain, it, but they've got the same wonder, the same.
Yeah.
Underlying feel to them that is really nice. I'm sort of worried, not to go too off topic with that, but like with this new one coming out, looking at previews, there's a different feel to how the movie is laid out.
Yeah. I haven't seen too much J.J. Abrams, but I like how they're treating it because they're gonna do a different director for each movie, and that's how the originals were.
Huh.
So, and they're keeping kind of that format going. And,
Well, you got to keep some traditions. I think. It keeps the.
yeah, and the prequels were all directed by Lucas, and the originals they had a whole team. It was Lucas the director. Well, in the original, Lucas was the director, and they had a whole team, and like. The producer did a lot with it, and he did a lot of the director's job. Robert Watts, I believe his name was. I don't know, his name is escaping me, but I think that's what his name was. But he did a lot of the directing job, as did Lucas's wife, Marcia Lucas. She did a lot with those movies. Like she's probably one of the biggest reasons why the originals are so good.
Marcia, no.
Because she'd look over the scripts and stuff. Because like I remember Harrison Ford talking to George. I remember a quote from him talking to George, and he's like. George, like talking about the script, and he's like, George, you can write this S, but you just can't say it. And like, but Marcia Lucas like look over the scripts and stuff. I believe that's her contribution because she made a pretty big contribution. And the difference between then and the prequels, they divorced between that time. So Marcia had no.
That's why they're so.
So Marcia had no input, and Lucas didn't have a good team of people making the movie. It was all him.
All the anger and violence put into the movie.
Mm.
Yeah.
And Hayden Christensen, he just ruined.
Yeah, that too. But
Yeah.
we don't mention that, do we?
But yeah.
So, quality.
Quality rating, 10 out of 10 for me.
I mean,
Obviously,
you can't go wrong with Star Wars once again.
If
You
I have to
gotta
take,
look past the differences.
and you have to look past the Tarzan yell.
If you're a real sci-fi movie lover, I mean, there's no hating Star Wars. Star Wars is the like epitome of sci-fi classic.
I think maybe I'd go like a 9.8. Just because of all the new renditioning they've been doing of this stuff. Like, if we go with the most recent Star Wars, like Blu-ray, maybe I'll go 9.8. But I think the originals, the ones I grew up with, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, the originals, just like boom, boom.
Well, another note about just
Oh,
all the
these guys
movies
are
in
so-
general, the music.
The music from
Oh,
John
okay.
Williams.
Beautiful. Like
At least the prequels had John Williams. At least they had John Williams.
Yeah, they didn't do too much wrong with that.
And the sequels are having John Williams as well. So we got that. But yeah, we need to figure out what movie we're going to talk about next podcast because we're going to take a break from Star Wars, and our next Star Wars episode will probably be The Force Awakens. After that comes out, so
comes out
December 18th.
18th.
Just a little under a month away from when we're recording this. I don't know when we're going to release this, but as of right now, it's a little under a month away.
Yeah, like 2 days.
Yeah. You can figure out what we're going to talk about next podcast, Josh.
should we figure out right now?
Yeah, let's discuss it right
We-
now.
We can cut out the.
We don't have to cut it out.
What movie are what you
Well, what have you guys already done? I mean, you've done
Star
all
Wars.
the
We just done the Star Wars.
We just finished the first
original
Are
trilogy.
you guys looking for like a single, sort of like a one hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. To keep all like the big franchises out there.
Yeah. We don't want to go Indiana Jones because that's a franchise
Have you
and
seen
it's too close to Star Wars.
Have you seen
so.
Interstellar
I was
yet?
gonna say
I haven't seen
you
Interstellar
guys should
yet.
steer clear of space travel because you just did Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Okay, yeah.
Steer clear
Change
of all
the-
that sort of thing. You
genre
could do
a
the
little
old Spider-Man movie.
Oh my gosh. Hey, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Because we could talk about like a lot of stuff that's good and bad in it.
Uh-huh.
Because I mean,
Mainly the actor.
people like. Well, I mean,
People go both ways on liking Tobey Maguire.
I like Tobey Maguire.
I didn't
really
mind
did.
him.
I like
I didn't
those.
mind him.
I like
But Andrew Garfield was like, wow, well,
He was like
this
a
is
breath
okay
of fresh
too.
air. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it
But
was like this is a good.
I thought
This is perfect podcast.
I thought he did a really good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But he was a hipster Peter Parker.
The other guy,
Yeah.
I don't remember his name right now.
Tobey
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. He played a better Peter Parker.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's true.
The one thing
The new movies didn't really do anything for me though. The original, the first two are part of my childhood, so I still love them. I love them. I can watch them over and over again. But the new ones they didn't really do anything for me.
The critique
One
for the
special.
old ones for Tobey Maguire is his crying
Oh yeah.
is the worst.
This is so bad.
He's like,
It's almost
Yeah.
comparable to Luke and his freaking nose scene.
Yeah.
Oh, his crying every time he like shrivels his face up and like he
Yeah.
does like the stereotypical front like. Ah! He was like, stop,
Oh,
Yeah.
just
So-
stop.
So next podcast we talk about all three of the original.
If you want to.
Pros
I
cons.
don't know.
Well, Spider-Man is kind of science fiction though.
That's true.
But it's a different.
Yeah, it's different kind of science
genre
fiction.
of science fiction.
Yeah.
Because this science, it's not a different universe. He can shoot webs and faces weird enemies. So
Okay, yeah, we'll do it. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films.
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films. So next podcast we are going to talk about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I don't know if we're just going to talk about one. I don't know if we're going to talk about two of them. I don't know if we're going to talk about all three of them. But we're going to talk some Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Chances are we're going to talk about him as a whole, but
lots of content there.
there is a lot of content.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But the third one has
You
a...
could split it into a two-parter if you
It
had
could be a
to.
two-parter, yeah. So, until next time, we need to make
Well,
this known to Tim. Yeah.
It's Star Wars.
No, at the end, after we say "May the Force be with you," we go, we make that sound. So all of us gotta
There
do
you
it.
It's weird. I don't know how to
Yeah,
I can't
it goes
do very well.
it goes around this way. It starts with me and then around. So, okay. Are you able to edit this with? Okay, we're
No,
to
first of all,
edit all that
you
stuff
gotta give me a
out.
crash.
Yeah,
How do
I-
you do
there's
this sound?
Like this. Put your tongue on the side of your mouth, and then pull it away as you suck in.
I can't do it.
Not here, but in the very back, like right here.
It's like you're doing this.
Do this. I can do.
Oh, whatever. Okay,
Just gotta do it
Let's
perfect.
do it.
Just do it in a thing. You gotta do it twice. I'll do my failed attempt.
do it. Just try it, Tim. Just try it. Okay.
Make an attempt.
Okay. Until next time, may the Force be with you.
And you, and you, and you, and you, and you.
And you. We did it! We did it! And I bumped the table again at the end.